Hello there, BookTube. My name is Daniel. Welcome back to my channel, Guilty Feet. Oh, aye, aye, I've got no rhythm. I just want to do a quick book haul, mini book haul, follow up to my last book haul. I was in London, so my last video, I had just arrived in London. It was last Wednesday evening, and my friend, who's a pilot, to whom I send all my books in London, had about a year's worth of books, and he brought them all over to me, to my mum's, where we were staying then, and I went through and did a book haul. We are out the next day. My wife and I and my daughter actually joined us, and we went to Notting Hill and did a walk down the Portobello Road. Ostensibly, my daughter was looking for outfits to wear to various events and weddings that she has coming up, and we just had a schmoozer, and then we split up. My wife and my daughter went off to Selfridges and Liberties and had a good look around there, and I went to the Charing Cross Road and did a bit more book shopping, and then my wife and I met up in the evening and we saw a play called Stereophonic, which was on at the Duke of York's Theatre. And I think this is I don't know if it's not the same production, but the play is transferred from Broadway, where it was I understand nominated for the largest number of Tonys in Broadway history, something like that. So very well received, very well reviewed, in the English production, very well reviewed. It was long. This was a long play, and I think the performances were amazing. I think the play was less than the sum of its parts. That's my hot take on Stereophonic. And apologies, I don't even remember the name of the playwright. But it's on now in London. Probably worth your time, but it's long. It started at 7, and we were out of there maybe about 10:30, with including an interval. Anyway, these are the books that I managed to get. With some degrees, there's only one of these I paid full price for, so I'm quite pleased with it. And and they've got another story about another book. And 3 of the 4 I'm going to show you now are long listed for the Booker price. So despite my poo-pooing and telling people you don't have to read the long list, I seem to have purchased a fair number of books that have appeared on that list. So first of all, I'll start with something not on the long list. This is a backlist book. I picked up a copy of Nell Zink's Wall Creeper. This is from what used to be the Notting Hill Record Book and Tape Exchange, or whatever it was called, and now they have a separate bookshop, and this was in the back room there, so I paid 50p for this. I've read one other Nell Zink, Mislaid, which someone's pinging me, which I really enjoyed, and I saw this for 50p, and I thought this will give me a chance to read more Nell Zink. Okay, book shortlist books. So we were walking down so we went to that was the Notting Hill. It's called the Notting Hill Book Exchange, because you can take books and buy books. And from there, we walked down the Portobello Road, where there was a charity shop. I don't remember if this was Oxfam or I don't know what it says. But I managed to pick up a copy of I was going to say Assembly, which was her first book, Universality by Natasha Brown. And I paid £10 for this in a charity shop. Cover price is £14.99, and it's still available £14.99 in every first-hand bookstore in London. I was having to pick this up for a tenner in Secondhand, and I don't know if it's been read. The dust jacket is a bit rough, but who cares? My wife and daughter didn't believe when it says, "Oh, look, and it's signed by the author." And they went, "No, come on, really?" It is signed by the author. And then later on, I was in Waterstones and I was in Foyles, and I don't believe they had a copy of this new in hardback that was not signed by the author. So I don't think it particularly adds any rarity. It's nice to have a book that's signed by Natasha Brown. I know this hasn't been as well received as Assembly, but I thought I would give it a go, and I picked it up for 66% of cover price. Please that. This one is a nice one because the book on the floor. This is a nice one because stop pinging me. After I left Portobello Road, I came back to, I got the bus to Piccadilly Circus, went into Hatchards, went into Waterstones just off Piccadilly Circus, came through Leicester Square, crossed over the Charing Cross Road, which used to be, the Charing Cross Road from Leicester Square all the way up to Tottenham Court Road, used to be, when it used to be 20 plus years ago, when I used to do this trip, every single shop was a bookshop. First-hand bookshops and second-hand bookshops. There was a crime and thriller bookshop called Murder One, only sold thrillers and crime and stuff like that. There was a sports bookshop called Sport Pages, which in addition to books about every kind of sport, also had match day programs and club pamphlets from every single football club in the UK. It was just I'm a kind of sports. I like cricket. I like a bit of other stuff. I don't follow much beyond that, but just great being in a very focused shop. There was an all women's bookshop thing called Silver Moon, where I bought a few Virago books and things over the years. And there was also a whole lot of secondhand bookshops. They now seem most of the shops have been gone for a long time. That parade and the Charing Cross Road from Leicester Square heading towards Tottenham Court Road seems now to be donut shops and Korean snack shops and people queuing up to buy Korean macaron. I don't know what it is. I'm not buying donuts much these days. But there remains two good secondhand bookshops on that parade. One is called Any Amount of Books, and the other I think is Henry Pord's. One of them I've been going to and always picked up things. They have a basement with more stuff. I went down into the basement and they had a shelf there of where they were selling, this is a second-hand bookshop after all, selling advanced reader copies, and managed to pick up, this is available now in hardback, full price in England, but I managed to pick up a copy of Sea Scraper in this advanced reader's paperback, and I paid £4.50 for that, and that is on the book along list, and I was very pleased with that, because I wouldn't necessarily have wanted to pay. I don't know this author, even though he's written a bunch of stuff. Benjamin Wood is new to me. I might not have picked this up had I not found it so cheaply. So really delighted with that. How many pages is that? Under 200, certainly 155, 160 odd pages. So I will now give that a shot, and I'm sure it will subsequently to my reading it will fail to reach the Booker shortlist, and no one will ever hear of it again. But I'm pleased to have picked that up, 160 pages, £4.50, while it's still current. And then the last book that I'm going to show you here, I went into Foyles, where everything is full price, a lot of signed copies, and just decided to pull the trigger and buy at full price a copy of One Boat by Jonathan Buckley. These Fitzgerald editions are very hard to find secondhand. I look on eBay, I look everywhere. They just don't come up very often. I don't know what that means, whether people who buy these books are less likely to give them to charity shops, or if they do, they're snapped up so quickly that they're never around. But I find that if I want to read them, I have to pay full price for them, which is not ideal because this is also a relatively short book. This is under 200 pages, also about 165 pages, and this at full price, I mean, it has the French flaps and this lovely Fitzgerald edition. Although I did see someone recently, I can't remember who it was, complaining about Fitzgeraldo because that the uniformity of the look, the design of the book, which is blue for fiction and white for non-fiction, makes the publisher the brand rather than the book. I'm not sure I totally. It was not enough to make me not want to read a Fitzgerald book because I just think they're beautiful object art. But this was brand new. This was £12.99, £13 for 160 odd page paperback. That's a lot of money. But every now and then, I managed to pick up some things cheaply. I'm feeling good about myself. So I bought this. Now, there is one other book on the shortlist which I have purchased, but I don't have it. One second. I found on eBay a copy of Endling by Maria Riva, which I bought and paid up for. So new, it's around, I don't know what it is, £18 in hardback. I think I found a copy for like £1, maybe £1 or £2 less than that. But I pulled the trigger, that was including postage. And then, the day before I was leaving to come back to Israel, I checked the status of this order, and on eBay it looked like the hadn't even been dispatched. So I thought, well, this is not going to get here. I'm only here for another day. I'm going to cancel the order. What can happen? I get my money back. They keep the book, whatever. So I did the cancellation on eBay, and it says it takes 3 days for the seller to confirm the cancellation. Well, sure enough, on the last day I was there, my friend the pilot to whom I send all my books said, "Oh, this arrived for you this morning," and sent me a picture of Endling. So I'm pleased to see that the seller had refused my attempt at cancellation because the book had actually arrived. Now, in the end, I didn't get to see my friend again, so I've left it with him in London. I think he's coming out to visit in September, maybe. Not a big deal. I've got plenty to read in between. But I wrote a note of apology to the eBay seller to say, hey, listen, I cancelled because I didn't think the book was going to arrive in time. It did arrive in time. I apologize if you were right to refuse to cancel. I have the book now, and I hope that's I apologize for any stress I may have caused by cancelling an order after. Anyway, they wrote back saying no worries. So I do have. So I've read Audition by Katie Kitamura. I've got 1, 2, 3, and I've also got the Lydia Choga book. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. So I now I read 1 and got 5 more on the long list. I think that makes me someone who reads a lot of the long list. That's where we're at. Okay, God bless. Bye.
כל ששון, כל שמחה. כל חתן, כל